Hi everyone, it's Tonya and I'm here with my book for February for Marion Smith's, I guess, February challenge. And I got the page downloads from her website, which is apieceofcraft.com, and I'll put a link down below where you can find her designs. I love working with her digital designs. They're so beautiful, and there's so many elements on here that can be used for other purposes. So what I did was I printed these out. Some of them are printed out on my laser printer, and also they're printed on the Georgia Pacific cardstock, which is I think 110-pound bond. You can, I mean, it's easy to find it just about anywhere, but Walmart is where I got mine. Then I also used, because halfway through this process my yellow toner cartridge gave out, so I had to print some of these on my inkjet printer. So those are two questions that are always asked when I say that it's a digital download, so I just wanted to address those right here in the front. Now next time I have a different binding method, but I was halfway through this book before I came up with the idea of binding this a different way, so next month's will be different. But for now, I just used my Bind It All, and I need to get a little bit bigger rings because this one just wasn't big enough. So on the cover, Marion did such an awesome job on the cover that I didn't want to cover it up too much. So what I did was I just added a little bit of lace, and this is I put 2 rows of lace on here. There's 2 different patterns here. And then I used some of these Prima flowers on, these are the essentials from Ornement de Floro. Okay, I butcher French to death, so I need Brittany. But anyway, it was this set of essential flowers I used throughout the book because Marion used a lot of pinks and blues in this design. So I love these flowers because they're flat, so they're a really great way to you know, add embellishments but not take up a lot of bulk. And then I also had printed out some extras of some of the pages by accident, so I just fussy cut and punched out a bunch of stuff. You'll see, I'll point it out as we go through the book. And then this is one of the new stamps that I just got from 7 Gypsies, so I just wrote the name Gibbs here. I love this little banner stamp, it's so cute. So on day 1, look at how pretty these covers are. They're just so pretty. And I love how the laser printer kind of gives it that kind of waxy look to it too. It's really pretty. But on day 1, what I did was I had worked on my Secret Squirrely box for January, and the theme was Winter Romance. So this is my box that, you know, I worked on the outside of it. So I took a picture of that. And then on day 2, I did the inside of the box, and I wanted it to be like a Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, so I, you know, took a picture of that one. Now Marion also added, about halfway through the month, she added these tabs, but the tabs are generic enough to where they can be used for every month. So I went ahead and downloaded those, and there they are. I love how they look in the book. And the reason that they don't like line up really well is because there's a page inside. I made sure it lined up with the tab stop that would be for that page. So I can tell that there's actually pages in between here that are on the inside. Quirky little thing. On day 3, I made banana bread. So the recipe for the banana bread is in the pocket. And then this just says Mama's Homemade Banana Bread. What I do is I have a Paula Deen recipe that I have changed and modified a little bit. I don't use near as much fat as she does, but it still is super moist. So the recipe's in here. And then day 4, and don't ask me for the recipe because trust me, it doesn't have any measurements. I don't even know how to tell you how to do it. I just do cinnamon until it looks right. It's really crazy. But day 4, oh my goodness, Mr. Diva Brighton about lost his life on day 4 because I came into my scrapbook room and he's in here with a white t-shirt and my royal blue Copic marker. I don't need to say anything else, I'm sure. I wanted to strangle him. So after we had our huge fight, I gave him a blue Sharpie and he wrote Heat, YBA, which is the name of his team, was the Heat. So he was making himself a t-shirt. Now, you know, I think it's really cute, because it was so like just random. And it was like you had to be at the field in like 5 minutes, and he's making a t-shirt. So when he was playing the game or when he was coaching or whatever, I took a picture of the back of his shirt and it says Coach Gibbs on here. It's so, I mean, my son does not care how many people make fun of him. He really doesn't. He could care less. He's always hilarious. So anyway, and then sometime during the day, I saw him sitting on the wall with all of his teammates here, and I thought they looked like little baby ducks in a row. I thought that was cute, so I took a picture of it, and I said, he looks like a mama duck and her ducklings. Then on day 5, I saw this eagle flying overhead, and I got a picture of it. I usually can't get close enough to him to get a decent picture. This one's kind of pixelated, but I mean, because he was still kind of far away, but I really like how you can definitely tell it's an eagle, and it's a really cool underneath shot of him. Not the best photography, but now on this page, I also wanted to show you, whenever I printed this page out, I printed this double-sided, or I printed it twice and then cut it out and mounted it double-sided so I could have like a little mini booklet. And then I got to thinking about it, I was like, this would make the cutest little teeny tiny mini album. But anyway, so I put it in here, but I put it like this. And the reason for that is I have a couple more pictures of the eagle, but I can't find the memory card. So I think I left it on my desk at work. So I left this so I could add some more pictures in here. And then I just did my little journaling here. Then on day 6, Cooper, oh my goodness, I could just eat him up. He is so cute. But he was sitting there in the gymnasium playing with the iPhone, and this other little girl had her mama's iPhone, so both of them were playing with iPhones. When my kids were little, they played with trucks and Barbies. This is crazy. So I had to document that. Now on the back here, I didn't want to leave this page blank, so what I did was I went on Facebook and I downloaded some of my favorite pictures of Mr. Cooper, and one of them is here with him with Brighton, and they were at Chuck E. Cheese with their little monster teeth. And then on the tag that slips out, where the hole was cut, I just added a little bit of lace. And then this was another one of my favorite pictures of him. I just love that he was wearing these little star glasses. He's another one that's got some personality now. And also, like I said, with the fussy cutting, I just took and punched out little butterfly, and this is from one of these pages that I printed twice. So thought that was really cool. Then on the next day, day 7, Trey's playing basketball, and I got some pictures of him. And then he was going up for a shot, and it was really cool, so I just got a good picture there. And then over here, he's also shooting, and I'm watching his dad, which is my brother, at the same time watching him shoot. So I just really love to watch them play. So on the journaling up here, I just wrote a little note to Trey telling him how much I enjoy going to his games and being a part of his life, and so glad that he calls and invites me. And then on day 8, I had made this little card that I took a piece of the leftover, this is like a postcard that came in Marion's Journey book kit. So I printed it out and put it on here and made a little card out of it. Thought it was super cute. On day 9, my husband and I went on a little fishing trip. And this is actually, like I said, a picture from his Facebook wall. It's one of those things where I don't want to leave blank pages, and these are pictures that I really want to scrapbook, but they're really too small, or, you know, or it's not really something worthy of like making a huge scrapbook spread out of or anything. So this is a perfect use for those pictures. So my picture for the day of day 9, so I'm just using them as filler. And then the picture for day 9 was my husband and I had gone off on a fishing trip for the weekend, and this was the picture I took of us fishing that day. So that's my hunk of a husband, and there he is with his fish, this big monster bass. I don't know, it was like 10 pounds or something. And then I was just so glad that we could just hang out and relax for the day. We got away for a long weekend that weekend. It was super cool. So I put this back. And then all I did on this was I just added a couple of little buttons. I put some pop dots behind it and then put hot glue on either side of the button so that the pop dot would stay. And then just took some twine and made this little closure for this. Then on day 10 happened to be our wedding anniversary, and my hunk of a husband, we'd gone fishing again that morning, so I called his name and he looked up and I snapped a picture. So this is actually from one of the inserts. It said love at the top of it, and I didn't use it in the book, so I just cut a little banner out and stuck it here. This was just a little flower that was laying on my desk, so I just put it on there. And I wrote him a cute little I love you thing. Then on day 11 at the lake, this was our sunrise. Isn't it gorgeous? And you have to get up like really super early to see something like this. Like I think it was like 5:30, and it was super warm on the 10th, and then on the 11th the temperature had dropped down to like 30 degrees overnight. It was freezing out there. So I'm like bundled up in this big huge blanket. My husband is holding the blanket closed while I take the pictures so it doesn't get all like shaky. So it was like a little romantic moment. It was so cool. This is not photoshopped. This is exactly how it appeared that day. And I love how the reflection is on the water, and it just looked like the sky was like on fire. Loved it. So I called this one God's Paintbrush. Because to me, I mean, if you're looking for color inspiration, get outside every now and then. You will be surprised what you see. So on this one, this was just in the same series, but I guess I called this one Dawn's Early Light because this was like a few minutes later. And when I say when the sun comes up, you've got 15 minutes to get shots, and then it's up. It happens so fast. So I just wrote something on here about what we were doing that morning and some of the thoughts that were in my head, and you know, put them on here in the little insert. And then on day 12, you never really know what you're gonna see when you walk into my house. Well, I'd come home from work and Goofy Brighton was at it again. He had gotten these pajamas for Christmas, and they have gonzo feet on them. They're like Muppets. And he's wearing these things around in the house, and it's hilarious because he's like 5'11", 12, I don't know. Anyway, he's almost 6 foot tall, and he's got this afro wig that he had gotten for Halloween, and this like hat that Kenny had brought home for Brittany a couple weeks before, and he's parading around the house looking like this. And so I had to take that picture. You never know what's gonna happen around here. He keeps us in stitches. And then I didn't want to cover up the side because it's so pretty, so I just added a little bit of lace and one of the little flowers. Then on day 13, Brighton had come into my scrapbook room. While we were away, we had to deal with some little family drama because Diva over here had gotten into a little bit of trouble while we were gone. So he was feeling a little humbled, I guess. Got hot glue on my picture. He was feeling a little bit humbled, so he wrote me a nice, sweet Valentine on Facebook, which I blogged on an Artsy Attic, so I'm not going to get into it. But again, this is one of the little punches from the leftover paper, and then I just put Sun on the banner, and inside here I put the note that he had left me on Facebook. And then on day 14, Valentine's Day, I wrote, Marion had made this little spinner card, and super cute. I loved it. So I didn't want to do anything that would really take away from that. So I wrote on here, my guy is rich because he has me. And then I put it to the rich man. I pointed it at the rich man. And then, oh, Valentine's Day was a crazy day for us. So what we did was we had gone to a photo booth and had taken some pictures because we'd gone out to dinner, and let me tell you, it was a wild, crazy day. My hair was like all over the place, and photo booths are like the worst pictures in the universe, but we had a good time playing with them. I used some washi tape to glue them down, and we were just making goofy, silly faces. And then, you know, one of the things I wrote on the journal for that day is that after 22 years of marriage, we can still laugh and cut up and have a good time, and that's really cool to me. And then this was one of the little labels that were on one of the inserts that I just fussy cut it out and wrote love story on there. And then I fussy cut one of these little moths or butterflies out of the design and stuck it on there. Then on day 15, I had made this layout to do my blog post for Artsy Attic, so I took a picture of that, and then these are just little cuts from leftovers of the scrap paper. I just included it in here. Then on day 16, I had made this card, and I'm trying to use my handwriting a little bit more than I used to. So I'm doing some doodling around the edges, and I had doodled up this little, what do you call it, title to put on the card. And I had used this for a blog post for Flamingo Scraps. So in here I just have my supply list that I used for this, because I have to blog on that whenever I do that. So I did that. And then on this side, okay, I go for a walk every afternoon, and I take my camera with me, and my neighbor's bougainvilleas are blooming, so I took a picture of those. And then this is where these little flowers, I had cut one apart and made this cute little, the butterfly that's in the background is on the paper design, so I made this little teeny tiny one here, and then used some of the flat back pearls to make the body of the butterfly. And I just love spring. I mean, oh my goodness, right now I'm so inspired. But I had on my desk, my sister had brought me some chicken wire, and I thought, I'm going to make something with this chicken wire. I didn't know what, and in fact I still got some sitting here. So it was just little pieces of scrap or whatever, and I had this dress form, and I decided to make a little dress form with some chicken wire down at the bottom just to see if I could do it. I loved how it turned out. I put some bloomers around here and then some lace up here, and then you can't really see it in the picture, but there's a row of pearls here at the waistband. So I just used, again, another one of these cuts from the scrap paper left over from this album, and then just wrote inspired on here. And then on day 19, this is my lovely daughter Brittany, and I don't get many pictures of her because she's 18 and she's just kind of going about her own way. She's got her driver's license and she doesn't have time for us really. So I just have a few pictures of her here and there because, you know, like I said, she's gone. She didn't get time for me. But I'm so proud of her. She's been working so hard. And the other day, she's a senior this year, and the other day they were testing in class, and she doesn't have to take the test because she's a senior, and if the seniors have an A average, they don't have to take the exams. So she sat there and did these Zentangles, which are super cool. She brought it home and showed it to me. I had to take a picture of it, and then I wrote her a letter in here about how proud I am of her. And then on the 20th, guys, Florida, this time of year, our sunsets are explosive. I mean, it just looks like flames everywhere, and it's so intense, and I can't take myself away from it. And sometimes if I'm driving home from work, it's just breathtaking. I mean, we're going through pecan orchards and things like that. It's just so gorgeous. Well, this is from my neighborhood. I took this picture. I just happened to look out the window. The sky was bright orange, so I grabbed my camera and went out and took my picture for that day. No photoshopping. This is completely how it looked whenever I took it. I love the salmon, rich salmon-y, peachy colors with the purples and the bright yellows, and then the contrast of the black. So I did this as a color inspiration. Once again, God's inspiring me. Okay, and then on day 21, I believe this is, I was watching this tutorial on gum paste, and I was learning how to make gum paste roses, but I did them out of clay instead of gum paste because someone who has diabetes probably shouldn't be playing with gum paste. But then I painted them with this metallic paint that was super cool. So I took a picture of it painted, I took a picture of it without, and then on the inside I have the directions on how I painted it. And then on this side, I just journaled about it a little bit, and then I put those little flowers here inside the frame, and then the little flowers here. Okay, then day 22, I had made this deer roast, and the instructions are here on how I did it. On day 23, again on my walk, I had come across these sunflowers, and I wanted to experiment with some of the HDR tutorials that I found for Photoshop. So I did, and this is the picture, and I think I'm going to make a group of postcards out of these because I just love the way they looked. And you know, sunflowers have so many textures and veins and things like that in them that you can really pull those contrasts out with the HDR filters. So you know, like I said, spring, I'm totally inspired by spring. Then on day 24, I'd crocheted some flowers, so I took some pictures of them, and I have the crochet recipe inside the envelope. And then on day 25, when I tell you spring is like sprung here in Florida, I'm telling you, contrast of color, I'm just so inspired every time I walk outside this time of year. And the sky is this rich, rich blue all the time. All the leaves have a fresh green leaves, so they're like this popping with the bright greens and bright yellows, and the colors are just so intense and vibrant. So I really wanted to capture that contrast in here. So this is one of the palm trees in my neighborhood. And on day 26, Brittany had done another Zentangle, and this one is super cool. She did it on craft paper, and it's a tree with owls, and oh my gosh, I love it. But I blogged on that, so I'm not going to get into too much detail. And then I had printed her out some tags that she could keep in her purse, and so she's been doing them on the tags too, so I have one down in here. And then on day 27, I made lasagna. So I put the recipe here on the side, and then since this gets cut like this, what I wanted to do was along this edge just put some lace on here, and then I fussy cut this motif off of one of Marion's pages that I had printed extra, and I just added it there. So again, you get that pop of layering without the depth of you know, in bulk. So on day 28, I had found this little jewelry piece that in a store that I was in, and oh my goodness, look at how cool this looks. And it's a Tim Holtz plate in the background, and it's got all these little metal pieces in here, and I want to learn how to do this. So the class instructions are actually inside the envelope. And then on day 29, which was the last day of the month, again, these were just some of the scraps from where I had fussy cut out those pages. So I just kind of collaged them around here. This is one of my new doilies that I had just gotten. And my day 29 is I'd gone down for my walk to the little produce stand that's in my neighborhood, or it's right at the end of my road. And these carrots were laying there on the bin, and they were just so vibrant and so pretty. And again, look at these color contrasts. I just love it, love it, love it. So I had to take a picture and come home and play with those HDR filters again. And so there you go, 29. And the thing I like about February is that it's full of love. You know, you start out the month with Valentine's Day and kissy stuff, and our anniversary is that time of year, or at the beginning of the month, and you know, and then you end the month with spring is just everywhere. So lots of richness, lots of colors, lots of inspiration. So anyway, thank you, Marion. I have enjoyed working with your downloads. They're awesome. Keep them coming, girl. And I hope you guys have enjoyed my walkthrough of February. March is going to have a different binding system, and I look forward to seeing what you guys have created. Please leave me comments.